Channel message.
The audacity has to be studied. To participate in lying on someone, to sit around people gossiping, smearing, distorting narratives, manipulating perception, and helping weaponize a person's pain, right? And then lack the backbone to stand on the side that was chosen. That should be studied, right? It looks weak from every angle, because if the conviction was so deep that the target was the problem, why return? Why the lurking? Why the watching the stories? Why breadcrumbing of comments? Why the slow crawl back into an energy field after actively violating his peace? Everything tried failed, right? The lies, isolation, manipulation, character assassination, the humiliation campaigns, all of it, none of it worked. The target survived. They healed. They evolved publicly instead of collapsing privately or publicly, right? As expected. And that is exactly what causes the disquiet, right? The genuine expectation was that the damage would permanently destroy the person. The calculation was that isolation would leave them weak, desperate, invisible, unstable, or easier to control. Instead, the pressure produced someone far more aware, more protected, more discerning, more powerful, and more vocal. Then suddenly proximity is desired. And it's not because of a change of heart or that they care. It's because people are opportunistic, right? Your rising is attractive, right? And they miss access to you. They miss access to that energy, right? So the proximity is missed. The emotional supply is missed. The very light that was secretly resented while they benefited from it, right, is now craved. Somewhere in the mind of the betrayer, a comforting fiction was constructed. They're loving. They're compassionate. They'll probably forgive, right? They'll have mercy. Your empathy was mistaken for weakness, and that is a critical error. Why would anyone assume safety exists in the presence of someone who knowingly tried to hurt them? Why would you assume safety exists in the presence of someone you know you hurt? Are you that arrogant? Unsafe is not just physical violence. Unsafe is lying on someone while pretending to care about them. Unsafe is helping damage a reputation, then hovering around the healing process to monitor the outcome. Unsafe is smiling in the face while participating in isolation, right? Unsafe is studying someone who was betrayed out of a sense of entitlement to witness the fracture. What the fuck? That's a status, is it not? The real reason for the reappearance is clear. The truth is rising along with that individual, okay? The narrative becomes impossible to suppress when the person once silenced becomes stronger, louder, clearer, and more supported. Those breadcrumbs are dropped in an attempt to secure visibility before the historical role in the harm becomes impossible to hide. That is not remorse. It is image management, right? There's a demand for redemption without confession, forgiveness without accountability, re-entry without repair, and access without honesty. Wow. But a like is not accountability. Watching from the shadows is not accountability. It's actually hella creepy, right? Fake support is not accountability. Hovering around a platform, a business, a neighborhood, a school, whatever, after helping destabilize a person does not grant redemption. It is simply invasive. Parasocial behavior is not reconciliation. If the desire was not to be remembered as a manipulative, cowardly, invasive, dishonest, envious, or weak-minded bitch bastard, then the choice should have been different. The choices you made should have been those that require integrity, right? The opportunity to choose honor existed when no one was watching, and you did not make that decision. So you chose cowardice instead. Now live with it. Survival must never be confused with permission. Guilt does not grant re-entry. And surviving someone else's choices does not make that person safe. Do you understand?
End of message.